What is up, ladies, gentlemen, and air fryers? My name is Toasty, and this is my first video essay. I made it because I was bored and wanted to try a new hobby. Also, yes, I am recording this on my phone. My laptop's camera is absolute dog shit, and honestly, this isn't much better, but it's okay, we persist. So today, you will be listening to me yap about one of my favorite video games, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Let's start with a rundown of the story. To start, I really like that you don't need a whole lot of knowledge on the previous game, Ori and the Blind Forest, to play this one. I played the sequel first, actually, and I never finished Blind Forest because I got bored. But I know what happens in the first game. I know the story, so. We start with the prologue. Ori is sitting on a cliff ledge. In the background, you can see the spirit tree from the Blind Forest, which is a nice callback. Ori is a spirit, which is a creature made of light from that same tree. They get called over by this silly little guy named Gumo, and you get to learn the basic controls of running, jumping, and climbing up ledges and walls. So, we make it to their home, where a purple owl has just hatched from her egg. Here's a bit of context. This owl's mother is Kuro, who was the villain in the first game. Anyways, the family names the newly hatched bird Ku, after her mother. It's so cute. It's so adorable. We get to see a montage of Ku growing up with Ori, but Ku's right wing isn't fully developed, so she's having trouble flying. Ku attempts to fly once again and fails, leaving her saddened by this. I love that Ori sits on the dock with Ku, not saying a word. I actually don't know if Ori can talk, but later in the game they call Ku's name, so maybe? Either way, it's a beautiful scene of the two. Then Ori finds a feather left by Kuro that allows her daughter Ku to fly. So they fly, and the scenery of the areas from the previous game is absolutely stunning. And the music, oh my god, the music, it's really good, okay? It's super good. I will be saying this over and over again throughout the video. I'm just saying that now. So, things take a sharp turn when a storm comes as they're flying, and the feather falls off of Ku's wing, causing both of them to fall in a new and unknown forest. We also get a glimpse of a totally not evil and toxic looking tree. I'm sure that won't be important later. What? I said nothing! Ori lands in the Inkwater Marsh. While searching for Ku, they learn about the decay, which is like corrupting water and the creatures that live in Niwen, which is the forest that they landed in. So decay is basically like a poison. It's just killing everything, and you know, it's cool actually, because it kind of like corrupts creatures into like spreading more of it. I think that's really awesome. So decay was also affecting Nebo in the forest where Ori lived, but Ori stopped it in the first game by restoring light to the spirit tree. Like, just kind of collected this stuff. We also learned that the creatures haven't seen a spirit in a really long time, and they're always surprised to see Ori there. And here comes the fun part. Ori fights off a giant wolf. Like, this is the first boss fight. It's just, everything is so much bigger than Ori, okay? All the boss fights are giant. It's so cool. Ori then finds a small glowing tree, and when they touch it, they kind of get filled with light, giving them a new power. This is called the Spirit Edge. Basically, being a lightsaber, this sword allows you to fight creatures that try to attack you, just like the fire from earlier. The Moki, who are friendly little lemur-looking creatures, tell you to find Kwolok, who is the guardian of the marsh. They also tell Ori that they saw Ku falling towards the Silent Woods, a place that was turned to stone by the decay. One thing that I would like to know is that when you make it out of Howl's Den, where the tree was, you see Shriek pass by, who is a giant owl who is quite literally stone cold. As in, she was partly made of stone. That kind of sucked. I'll talk more about her backstory when we learn about it later, but she's important. After a bunch of puzzles and fun new abilities, Ori finds Kwolok, who is a wise frog. Like, he's literally just a giant frog. It's adorable. And so he tells them that they need to go fix the wellspring to clear up the water from the decay before going to the Silent Woods, because they need to swim to get there. So they do that, and this is where my favorite chase sequence is, because there's it's really fun. So you get chased by this big ol' spaghetti guy called the Foul Presence. He was clogging up the mills, and man, the music just slaps here. It's so good. It's probably my favorite piece. But Ori is now able to go to the Silent Woods. They find Ku. I just need to prepare you for this next part, okay? So I've never cried so hysterically at a video game before. Little me playing this for the first time in 2020, 2021, something like that. I wasn't ready, okay? So Shriek shows up, the owl from earlier, and tries to attack Ori. When Ku tries to protect them, Shriek stomps on her. So they have some sort of little funeral for Ku, but she isn't actually dead. Kwolok tells Ori that they need to restore the light. To restore the light, Ori must find all of the wisps. They are like little fragments of light that were scattered across the forest of Niwen. Kwolok has the voice of the forest, and he gave it to Ori to guide them. You can now choose which order you find the wisps. In my most recent playthrough, I chose to do the memory of the forest in Boar's Reach first. So we do a bunch of parkour and stuff with the fire ability we get, and we make our way upward. When we reach the top of the mountain, we find the memory of the forest hiding in a tree. Shriek shows up again. Okay, she is angered by the wisp's return and causes an avalanche to try and kill Ori and the wisps they have. They survive, of course, because they're the main character, and Boar wakes up from his long hibernation and tells them Shriek's backstory. So, Shriek hatched after the Silent Woods turned to stone, leaving her extremely deformed. Many of her feathers were turned to stone. Basically, she was rejected by the other owls, so she's all evil and stuff and hates the light. I think she has the ability to turn others into stone, because in the Silent Forest, we see Howl, who is the wolf from earlier, completely turned to stone. I think she can also spread other kinds of decay too. I'll tell you why later. We head to the Luma Pools, beautiful water-themed area. After we gain a water dash ability, we find Kwolok and the strength of the forest. But something is wrong. Kwolok is possessed or controlled by the foul presence, also known as the spaghetti guy from earlier. We fight Kwolok and he kills the foul presence, but sadly dies himself, and we get the strength of the forest. Next, I chose to go to the Moldwood Depths. Here, the darkness literally kills you, so Ori gains the ability to glow more in the dark. Very creepy, I like this part. And then we encounter my favorite boss fight, Mora the Spider. The decay made the Moldwood Depths dark, and the darkness made her go mad, and she started spreading decay. We fight her, and she returns to normal and gives us the eyes of the forest. Finally, Ori makes it through the windswept wastes. That's really hard to say. They find the wind-torn ruins. In there, Ori sees the murals of the spirits, and the voice of the forest tells Ori that there was a prophecy of a spirit coming to save Niwen from the decay. I'm not a huge fan of this. It's supposed to be some sort of cycle, like the circle of life, but I don't love it. I don't know why. But it's not a big deal, this game is still awesome. Plus, I can still love a piece of media while also recognizing its flaws. They find the last wisp, the heart of the forest, and the wisps join together to form Seer, who is the light of the forest itself. Then, they escape a giant sandworm, with a banger soundtrack as always, and they make their way to the Willow's End, where the dead spirit tree is. Before they get to Willow's End, Shriek tries to kill Ori again, but Seer protects them with a blast of light, and this breaks the stone on Shriek's face, as well as her horns. Ori tries to befriend Shriek, but she screeches at Ori, or shrieks at Ori, and flies away due to her past. My little semi-headcanon is that she is scared of Ori rejecting or leaving her. Man, Shriek is my favorite. I just love her so much. The Weeping Ridge, it's so hard to say. Weeping Ridge, or Willow's End, Ori clears out the gunk blocking the way to the tree. When they make it, Seer asks Ori to merge with the light, leaving their old life behind to become a new spirit tree. This sounds like a crazy ask, but if you think about it, Ori is sacrificing themselves for Ku, who is their sister. Oh, and the forest. They made some friends and overall doesn't want people to die, I think. It's pretty understandable. Shriek, of course, swoops in and crushes Seer with her talons. Ori battles Shriek in one final epic boss fight. I want to note here that Shriek has lasers and fireballs that look like decay, so she in fact can spread decay. The music swells and Shriek is defeated. This part is really sad too, okay? Shriek flies back to her parents and freaking dies under their stone wings. I didn't know this at first. I thought she was just resting and being all sad, but no. The creators confirmed that she died. under her parents' wings. I think she deserved a redemption. It made me really sad that she just died. It's just depressing. Meanwhile, this part is also sad, oh my god. Meanwhile, Ori stumbles to Seer's fading light, thinking of all their memories with their found family. And finally, Ori embraces the light and becomes a tiny little tree. The light is restored to Niwen, and Ku is brought back to life, and her wing is fixed. Their family helps them grow over the years, and the game ends with the spirit being born from one of Ori's branches, continuing the cycle. I really love the abilities you unlock. It makes combat and platforming really interesting and fun. For example, the bashing ability. You can literally launch yourself through projectiles and just send yourself up and flying and stuff is really cool. Another ability that's really fun is the Spirit Edge itself. You can attack 5 times in a row, and it is pretty fast. I also like how most of the weapons are balanced. What I mean by that is the higher damage ones are slower, and the lesser damaging ones are quicker. I'd say a part of the game that isn't too great, though, is the long cutscenes. You can skip a few, but not all of them, making speedrunning a little bit annoying. I did it anyways, but So taking this opportunity to complain about the hackers taking over the time trial leaderboards. It's not a big deal, but it still sucks to see the top scores being 0.0001% seconds or something. But overall, one of the many reasons I enjoy playing this game is the smooth, flowy gameplay. I'm sure the animations help with that too. I absolutely love Ori's art style. I also adore how Ori stands out from all the colorful backgrounds since they're white and glowing, And man, can I talk about the backgrounds for a second? I feel like each area has its own color palette. For example, the Moldwood Depths is all yellow and green and dark, and it looks very spooky because it's bug themed, The Luma pools are blue. Obviously, it's a water place, but it has hints of pink and a bit of orange to contrast it. Because if it were just that same shade of blue over and over again, it would hurt my eyes and be confusing to look at. Even the animations are so full of life and bouncy. I find it adorable when Ori falls from a high place. They kind of stretch like a noodle. I love a good squash and stretch strategy right there. Yeah, this game is really pretty. I like it. Last section before the outro, I promise. I just want to talk about Shriek for a second, since she's my favorite. One thing I was confused about when I first watched her backstory cutscene was the fact that she turned to the darkness and decay in the first place. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it was the only thing she had left. She had no family, no friends, and no light. She's never experienced that. So after she betrayed to friend other owls, they were scared of her, and the only place she had left to go was the Silent Forest. I also believe she might think that the spirits abandoned the forest. Another headcanon, because it makes it more depressing. So, as she grew, the more hatred she had for the light, and the more decay she helped to spread. No wonder she was so aggressive towards Ori. They went against the only thing Shriek had, the decay. Her ending is really tragic. She never experienced the light or love, and she freaking died. I wish she had gotten the happy ending she deserved, but there's nothing I can do. Maybe I'll write a fanfic. So, my first video essay, or more so me just rambling about a game that I like, but I had really fun making it. If you have any stuff that you want me to make a video about, comment what it is. That's it for now, Toasters. See ya later.